Welcome to the Small Business Spotlight, where we spotlight inspiring business owners, share their stories about their business, their success, all that gravy. Today, this podcast is sponsored by Credit Banc, where you can get up to $500K in working capital with monthly payments in little less time than usual. Now, I'm your host, Will Hyder. I have an extra special guest today, Andy Bizub. Andy, thank you so much for joining us. Andy is the owner of Midwest Performance Cars. Thank you for joining us, sir. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you for coming on. Andy, tell us a little bit about your business, when you started, and why.
So it's Midwest Performance Cars. We are a 3-location Euro specialty repair and performance maintenance and upgrade shop in the Chicago area in the automotive repair. I started it in 2014. I was actually a customer of the business. It was a 1 location at that time, and found out that the business was in financial difficulties and about to go under. Worked out a deal to acquire the business, executed a turnaround, opened a 2nd location in 2018 and a 3rd location in 2023.
Wow.
And then executed a partial sale of the business to 3 of my younger employees at the same time that we opened the 3rd location in 2023. So now I have 3 younger co-owners as I get prepared on my succession plan in the next few years to really move into the background of the operation of the business.
Wow, that's amazing. 2014. You haven't been wasting any time. You've expanded crazy. 3 locations. I looked up your website. You guys do a lot of European style cars. Is that kind of what you work with?
We're about 60% Porsche, and then all the rest of the German brands: BMW, Audi, Mercedes, VW.
Yeah, everybody loves those cars. My first car was a BMW, an E30. It was an 88 325 iX all-wheel drive. I missed that car. I should have kept
that. That was a great generation of BMWs.
Yes. Yeah. Same year I was born too, so it was a great year. But,
Did you say 88?
Yeah, 88. Yeah.
So, 88 was so this is my 2nd career. I spent 30 years as a commodity trader at the Chicago Board of Trade, and coincidentally, 88 was my first real large year as a professional independent broker.
Yeah, I noticed on your website you started as a trader, right? So, I know you mentioned you were a customer. What have you always been into cars? I mean, what made you go out and buy a
Yeah. So when I was 19, my first car I bought with savings from a couple of odd jobs. I bought a 1976 Triumph Spitfire. Which,
wow.
if you're familiar with British Roadsters at all, they run about half the time. So that got me interested in fixing and repairing cars and keeping up cars.
So you have a knack for fixing, and you understand the automotive side of it, fixing and things of that nature. Cool.
Yeah. I don't repair any of our customer cars. I hire people to do that, but I do have a mechanical aptitude, mechanical bent, and I've always been interested in that. And again, I was a customer of this shop, and as I was retiring from my first career, I just saw an opportunity with the shop and doing a turnaround, and then eventually expanding it into and so this is my 2nd bite at the apple career wise.
Let's talk about that, right? What's the biggest problem that your business solves right now? Who's your customers, right? Speak to them a little bit.
Sure. So our target avatar customer is the person with the European car, usually just coming out of warranty, and they're tired of going to a dealer.
Right.
One of the things in our space is that the dealer networks in general do a really poor job of customer service.
Yeah.
And that is our edge. We are very relationship based business. We want to have a customer for the long term. We don't want to sell them a whole bunch of stuff right now. We want them to keep returning, keep coming to us, keep maintaining that car. It's a lot cheaper to maintain a 10-year-old car properly than it is to go out and finance a new car.
Yeah, I agree.
You've already paid for it. You're out of warranty, but if you do the proper maintenance and stay ahead of it, it's a lot cheaper to own that car for the long term than continually going into a new car every 3 to 5 years, taking the big depreciation hits. So we have a lot of customers with over 50, over 100,000 miles. I have 3 cars myself that are all over 100,000 miles. They're all Porsches, and they just keep running.
Yeah, that's the common notion. A lot of these big dealerships, even I don't take my cars to dealerships anymore. They're always trying to upsell you, trying to sell you more things than you need. It's like, or if something happens and it's like now
Sure.
it didn't even get fixed. But yeah, I always look for places like yours that are, like you said, relationship driven. They don't try to scam people, right? They do what's right. In addition to that, obviously know what they're doing. So, and they don't.
Right. And our other edge is so we also work. We don't we don't like slam the dealer. We work with the dealer. So if we find so you if your car is under warranty, you bring it to us for an oil change, tires, or alignment, whatever, and we find something that can be fixed by the dealer for free under your warranty, we're going to tell you,
Yes,
hey, here, we're going to do these things, we're going to do these maintenance things, but here's something you can go to the dealer and get repaired for free. So go do it with them.
honest mechanic. I tell you, that's hard to find these days. Honesty, especially whenever I send my wife in, it's like they always get a different response too. So that's great,
It,
man.
sure, it's about building trust, and you can see it in you read our reviews, and where people are like, "Wow, I've never had an experience like this when I took my car in for repair." Nobody wants to go take their car in to get fixed, just like you don't want to go to the dentist, but it's
Yep,
something you have to do, right? So why not make it as pleasant and as frictionless as we can?
I agree. I got to get my car fixed. I got to get some new struts on mine myself.
Okay,
Not a European car though. I got a Charger, a little
okay,
Daytona, but yeah, I run it hard like those BMWs, and
yeah,
it's always the BMWs that want to try me, but
right.
it's fun, man. Thanks for sharing that. So what's been your biggest moment, your proudest moment in your business to date? You've had a lot of great wins, expansion, multiple locations. You talk about your
Sure,
succession story.
yeah.
What is your biggest and proudest moment to date success of?
Proudest moment, I got to tell you, easily proudest moment is when. So we have 20 employees now.
Hmm.
Is when someone in my staff has a big win. Uh,
Yes.
I'll give you a great example. We have one of our guys in Chicago at our Chicago shop. He walked in the door. This was probably 2018. He was about 19 years old, just asking for any kind of a job. We gave him a job washing cars and basically being a porter, washing
Right.
customer cars, moving them around when needed, cleaning up the shop. Then he moved on to become our tire guy. He was changing tires. Then we taught him how to do alignments. We sent him off for training, became our alignment guy. Then he started working under one of our more experienced technicians. Now he's one of our full blown, what we call a B level technician, on his way to become an A level technician. And he came up to me 2 years ago and said, "Hey, I'm buying a house."
Wow.
Right? And now he's got two kids. He's got a house. And he's living a really great, a nice, dignified life, able to pay his mortgage, able to pay his bills. Those are the kind of wins that are really great. Fixing
Nobody really
cars is
talks about that a lot, right? It sounds like you've built not only a great business, but a business culture that people want to be involved in, not just your customers, but your employees, right? Like that's huge. And thanks for sharing that because not a lot of business owners think along those lines, right? They just think of the top line. They don't think they think about their employees as numbers, right? For you to be
mhm,
able to build that culture, I think that's another pivotal point on how you've been able to scale so quickly. It's because of the internal culture that you built within your business that allows you to have these leaders, have these people to help you scale and implement your vision, right? Because you can do it
absolutely. We
alone, I'm sure,
really,
right?
yeah,
So
we really focus on culture in our business, and I always think of it as I want all of our people on Monday morning to. I mean, you may not be thrilled to go to work, but not looking forward to going to work.
correct. Yeah. A lot of people hate waking up and having to do the rat race, having to do the hamster wheel.
Sure.
But you gotta love where you work. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's great. So, we talk a lot about successes, right? Running a business has a lot of challenges, and I'm sure you can attest to that. What's one big hurdle that you face that you've been able to overcome that you can share with us?
I sh- the biggest, I think the biggest challenge in any business is your people. You can have the wins like I just told you about, but you can also have the difficulties. And especially in our space, hiring for skilled labor
Mm,
is very difficult.
yeah.
Particularly in an area like Chicago, in a northern city where that is shrinking in population. People are leaving, so that makes it doubly tough. It's tough to find people. It's tough to recruit people to your city. There in our business, we do have people who try to get people to move to their area to start working for them, and that's in Chicago. That's tough to do. Chicago's a great city, but it's seen better times. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it's going to come back.
We're just there back in
So
January, but go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so it's definitely people. I think if you can manage your crew effectively, that's the key to any business.
Yes.
You can do the market research. You can how much you spend on advertising and marketing and whatnot, but you have to actually manage your people, and that's been the toughest thing. When we've had key people leave,
Mm.
that's a tough that's a tough thing to deal with. That's always my biggest concern. And
Has that,
and we try
has
we
that,
try to combat that by making it a place you don't want to leave, by having a great culture, offering training, really making sure that there's no there's no ceilings in your position. You can keep there's a path forward for you all the time.
so who's like your mentors and stuff that kind of taught you how to establish core values and SOPs and culture within your business? Like, where do you get your inspiration from?
So two places really. I learned a lot from my trading career, because when I started at the Board of Trade, I spent 10 years as a commercial broker where I had customers,
Mhm.
and the guy who there's an individual who gave me that start when I was 22 years old. I had worked for this guy for almost 3 years, and I saw how he did business, how
Right.
he treated his clients, and how he treated all the people around him, and that and we developed a really great relationship, almost telepathic. Like he would do this kind of thing where he'd turn around, I'd be handing him something before he asked for it. So that was a great work environment for me and a great learning environment. And then I carried that forward when I started as a broker and spent 10 years as a broker down there. And that's really where I learned about customer service, how you treat your clients, how you get people to not only stay with you, but acquire new clients. So that was one of it. And then the second part of it was when I did start in this business, it was a completely new business to me, totally different industry from the one I had spent 30 years in. And so very very quickly after starting the business in 2014, I joined a automotive coaching group, an industry specific coaching group, and I was with a coach for 6 years, and that really benefited me a lot. But also at the end of that 6 years, I realized that the relationship, it was time to move on. I had squeezed all the juice out of that lemon, from that coaching concern.
Right.
And then it was time to leave, and I moved on to other training methods.
Yeah. So, guys, if you're listening, small business owners, entrepreneurs new to the space, it's all about constant investment in yourself and most importantly, your people, right? So,
Always be learning.
always be learning. I always
Yeah.
say, if you're not learning, you're dying, right? Like,
Yeah.
always be growing. If there's an itch, if you have some nerve inside you, it's probably telling you need to grow, right? Go learn
Yeah.
something. Get around the people that you can learn from, mentors, like Andy mentioned, right? Everybody's at all levels. So, I can promise you, we all have the similar problems. It's just at different levels of business. Okay. So just
Sure.
get started and get around the people so you can learn. But thank you so much, Andy, for sharing that. I appreciate that because that's a big thing. And I've talked to a lot of business owners at all different levels. And that's the biggest thing is hiring good quality people, establishing core values, and establishing a place where people want to work, a nice culture. Does that make sense?
Yes,
You can just
absolutely.
be turning and burning people and you'll never scale, right?
Yeah.
There's no way you could get the 3 locations in the amount of 10 years that you've done without that proper culture in place.
Right.
So, so kudos to you, man. I mean,
Thanks.
it's amazing. So let me just run over a few more things here, and then anything else you want to share would be absolutely amazing. But one thing too, when you first get started with a business, a lot of business owners struggle with financing, right? Did you ever secure financing? Did you ever have any struggles with that?
So started when I took over this business. It was in dire need of capital. Basically, did some friends and family financing out of that,
Mhm.
and then paid it back. And then really establish one of the big things is really establish a relationship with a good small to mid size business bank, a local one, not one of the big. I don't bank with a like a large a large national bank. I
Right,
I bank with a
like a
regional
local credit
business.
union or something. Yeah.
Not well. I don't do a credit union, but I do it's a mid-level business bank in the Chicago area called Signature Bank,
Okay.
and they have been really key when it comes to financing equipment, having to borrow for, whatever contingencies or, your capital needs or whatever, but
Right.
it's really good to have that banking relationship. To me, it's very important to have that.
Yeah, that's key. Having a bank relationship and making sure you keep it solid, right?
Yeah.
You know, Going out and getting loans, establish your credit, right? Keep
Yep.
your credit good, keep your SBSS score good, and don't default on things. Do what you say you're going to do. And
Right.
man, those local banks are pivotal, especially if you want to do like acquisition, things of that nature. They can see
Right.
the track rate. You've been working with them for many, many years. It's
And
definitely,
stay in touch with that banker. Like, contact them every once in a while, even if you don't have a specific request. Just check in with that banker so he knows you're there, or she
yep.
knows you're there. Yeah.
And most importantly is be bankable. Have a bankable business, right? If
Yeah.
you have all of your documents out of whack and all your financials out of whack, good luck
Yep.
getting any type of funding to start a business or continue to scale a business.
Right.
There's a lot of companies that get started, don't quite know what they're doing at the gate, right? They kind of shooting from the hip. If you're watching this now, it's good to get it prepped right away. Right away, start working on establishing the business credit foundation, and that way, after year 2, 3 years in business, you can start to get in position for proper funding to help you scale instead of having
Right.
to pay 30, 40, 50% more than what you should have for that money.
Sure.
It makes it more expensive. So thanks for sharing that, man. So awesome. Quickly, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with the business? Any exciting news or growth plans?
Well, really, I mean, the exciting news for me is really are my three co-owners.
Right.
My biggest function now, I'm really out of the day-to-day operations. They don't want me picking up the phone when
Yeah.
I'm in the office. They want me looking at the big picture of things. So my focus now is coaching them up on ownership, because it's the first time they've ever owned a business
Right.
and had equity in a business, and then business development. I still know a lot of people in the areas around where our service areas, and I do a lot of the outreach. We're very engaged with the Chicago Region Porsche Club. We
Right.
support a lot of their activities. So, keeping that outreach to either the neighborhood or the region where we're doing business. So that's really my focus, is getting these guys ready to run the business completely autonomously on their own, and then helping to just continue to grow the day-to-day growth of the business for the next 3 or 5 years, because at some point I'll be the silent partner.
Yeah, it's a true visionary. And again, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, it's about building a business, not working in the business. And you're close to being completely outside the business, pretty much almost out of it now. You're just kind of overseeing it, helping it grow. But that's awesome. And you're the true visionary. You've got your integrators. That's another thing that we talk about too, is make sure you have a visionary integrator role. That, trying to do everything, wearing all the hats, you can only get so far, right? So
Yeah.
your integrators that can implement your vision, like he's talking about. He's going to be training all his people, to be owners, right? Just like
Yeah.
he was. So he's
Yeah.
going to be able to implement his visions into those integrators, and that's how you scale, right?
The other thing, hire people that are better than yourself.
Right.
It's good to not be the smartest guy in the room.
Always hire for where you're going, not where you are.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I want to be surrounded by people who can do it better than I can.
Yeah, man. It's awesome, man. So Andy, it's been great learning about your business. You've truly inspired me. You've inspired a lot of others as well in your company. It sounds like you're more than just a business owner. You're helping people reach their goals, helping people become a business owner themselves. So, that's inspiring. I wish there was more people like you out there. There's a lot of people out here like this. So just, continue to do what you do. It's great. Do you have anything else you want to add, or where can people find you if they want to look out for you?
So we're on Instagram at MP Cars. Our website is midwestperformancecars.com.
Okay.
Both of those
There we go.
places you can find
Popped it
us
up
all
there
the
for
time.
you guys. There's the
Yep.
website. If you guys want to check it out,
Yep.
midwestperformancecars.com. 3 locations in and around the Chicago area. Check it
Yep.
out. Check his website out.
Yeah.
And
Follow us on Instagram.
shoot him a follow. I'll add you to all my socials as well. We'll connect. And great. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you for sharing your story. If you guys liked it, subscribe it and tune in next time for the next episode of Small Business Spotlight. Again, my name is Will. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks.
If you enjoyed this video, click here to watch another exciting episode.